Boiling tension raises the temperature in Heroscape, Age of Annihilation, and I've got my resident Heroscape enthusiast, Gastel, here to share why he's so excited by this wave. And by the end of this video, he'll share which of these sets got his attention most, and you might even pick my favorite too, here on Legendary Tactics. Alright, so we're featuring 5 army expansions today, and 1 terrain set, an accessory set that has 34 glyphs, and Gastel, where are we starting off?
Well, we have to start off with this great terrain. This whole set is about lava. It's the focal piece. We've got lava fields, we've got molten lava, and we have lava outcrops. The lava outcrops are just a barrier for line of sight and stuff like that.
They're nice aesthetic.
It's a nice aesthetic for the board. Whereas the actual lava fields and molten lava have rules. Lava fields cause battle die to be rolled at the end of every turn that you're standing on them, and you take a damage potentially. Whereas the molten lava, you roll a D20, and on a 1 to 19, you're destroyed. Only a 20, you are miraculously saved.
Okay, so the moral of the story is don't go down to the subterranean level.
That's right, that's right.
Brilliant. Okay, so we've also got an abundance of new glyphs in the game. There's a whole whack of them, 34. We won't go through all of them, but what were the ones that were featured through the box?
So the 2 featured glyphs in the box are the Bolt of Witherwood, which is a potential insta-kill. There's also a really interesting one called the Glyph of Stera, which allows both sides to bring back their dead faction.
That's cool, because it was seeming like there was a lot of stuff that was going to kill us here. This is actually working counter to that.
Maybe to bring it back, right? So the game won't be just 5 minutes long.
Nice.
One that caught my eye, though, was maybe a simple one, the Cloak of Invisibility. I like the idea of being in the heat of battle and then suddenly, boop, disappearing and repositioning myself for that perfect kill shot. Did any stand out for you?
Yes, actually, the Glyph of Nilin looks awesome. So this one literally handcuffs your opponent. So I can choose my opponent, probably you, and roll, and if I hit my roll, then your powers are nerfed on the character that I've chosen.
That's an interesting way of maybe balancing an overpowered character and getting them to be, you know, killable sort of thing.
You got that right. Yeah. So let's take a look at the sets here, and let us know in the comments which one you're most hyped about. So in this set, Revna is represented by 3 army packs. The first of which is Scavorith, Lord of Ruin. He's Eisenek, which means that he's a cyborg monstrosity. And he's also a follower of Revna.
Yes.
So tell me about him.
Well, he is attack, attack, attack. He has a double burst, which allows him to attack twice with quite a few dice. And he also has a battle surge, which allows him to go twice in a turn. Not that he gets to attack 4 times, he can only attack 3 times, but this gives him a lot of offensive capability.
Awesome. So next up, we've got the Revenant Acolytes, and this is an undead common squad with 3 warriors. So what can you tell me about these guys, other than the fact that this guy only has 1 arm?
It's cool, and they're carrying skulls, which is an interesting feature.
Yes, indeed. Are they kings too? Look like they've got sort of crowns on.
Yeah, that's sort of neat. I wrote a Dungeons & Dragons thing about 3 kings. Maybe I could repurpose these models for
yeah,
that.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So what do they do?
Well, they allow you to re-roll a die with other Revenant characters, and they also have the ability, even if they're dead, without even the Glyph of Stera, they can come back to life, back onto the board with a successful roll.
So that's through hero worship and risen by Revna?
That's right.
Excellent. So they're sort of a supporting character?
They are definitely a support character, not really your frontline attack dog.
Okay. And our final Revenant in this set is Gravegrim. So he's also a common hero, and he looks like a feral, spiny ram dog.
Well, if he's on the lava, he's probably a hot dog.
Very nice. So tell me about him.
Well, he has Guide of the Dead, which allows him to move Eisenek characters, and he has a Harrowing Presence, which affects other people's D20 rolls by subtracting 3, sort of ensuring that they're going to fail a crucial roll.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's neat that he has the influence on other people on the board then.
Right.
So it may appear that Revna is stealing the Boiling Tension show, but in case you were worried, there is a fellow called Air Marshal Zed Nesbit. We don't actually have him on the table here, but he brings aerial maneuverability to your force. But we do have a Vorid, and that's Imper Kane.
Yes, and Imper Kane has this ATST styling, and he has only one special ability. He has a stomp, where he can cause damage just moving next to somebody. Also, Vorids, space squirrels, you gotta like it.
Yes, and the stomp would work on medium and small characters?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so he couldn't stomp this fella?
Probably not, no.
No, okay. But if you're a Star Wars person, that ATST styling is...
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. So one of the Tanuki tricksters, unfortunately, we've got one of them here, but the other Tanuki trickster is enjoying his best life somewhere in my house because my kids were having some fun with these before we got out to the studio with them. So tell me about these Vorid Ninjas -1.
Well, the Vorid Ninjas are all about movement. The Negawaza allows them to move somebody else on the board. The Tanuki Aruki allows them to move either other Vorids or ninjas. And their Phantom Walk allows them to just waltz through an enemy line without having to stop and face the consequences.
Wow, okay. Move 6, range 4, attack 3, defense 4. They seem really balanced and cheap for 45 points.
Pretty cheap.
Wow, okay. So our last characters are the Aquila. And these are the molten crustaceans. They're blending into the board a bit here. I'll put them up where we can see them a little bit better. But these little critters are the scavengers who can cruise around on the lava tiles.
Absolutely. And their Aquila faction, which I always find has sort of a movement on the board ability, and in this case it's their ability to move through lava unimpeded. So whereas everybody else is rolling dice and worried about being on the lava field, these guys just waltz wherever they would like in this particular scenario.
In the other set was the Aquila faction, the water-based one?
That's right, that's right. In the wellspring. That's right.
Okay.
They also have a volcanic carapace. When you squash one, you actually put...
So watch those. I should have warned you.
You actually put... you put a lava tile where the figurine once was, making that now a hazardous space, which might allow you to shut down maybe a valley or something like that on your terrain and force people to go around.
Oh, interesting. Okay, you're giving people ideas.
Maybe. They also have lava resistance, and they also...
So they can travel through here.
Yes, and they have climb too, which allows them to move around the board much more readily.
Now, one thing you pointed out to me when we opened these sculpts, the little bits of lava that sort of are spewing out or hanging off of the hammers.
Yeah, they didn't need to do that, but it brings something to the model, I think.
Yeah, so is this your favorite in this collection?
It was the one that as soon as I saw it, I was like, space crabs, I need them.
And which one do you think appeals to me the most, knowing, of course, my play style?
Well, I know you don't like big figurines, so I'm probably not going to pick the Eisenek.
They draw too much attention. Everybody focuses on you and tries to kill you when you're the biggest one on the board.
That's right, absolutely. So I'm going to go with the ATST.
Yes, you got it. The stompy guy. I can just picture running around the board and just smushing everybody.
Super fun.
Yeah, that does seem really cool. Overall, what does this full set do for your personal collection?
Well, it adds lava. I don't have any lava right now, so there's going to be new molten lava in the lava fields, some new terrain to make my table look nice, but it also adds extras to Aquila. It adds much more to Revenant, and it also introduces this new faction, Volarak. You know, space squirrels. It's brand new just in this wave.
You're really smitten with those. Well, I'm looking forward to getting this one to the table with you. Let us know what you're excited about. Now get out there.
Get gaming. And be legendary. Go Canada.
Nice. Boiling tension raises the temperature in Heroscape, Age of Annihilation. And I've got my resident Heroscape enthusiast, Gastel, here. Hair.